COO. This is Richard Cox. This is a great way to introduce him to all of you all. But thank you for coming here. I am joined by members of my senior team, as you all can see, including our new COO, Richard Cox, my Chief of Staff, Marva Lewis, also our acting CIO, Daphne Rackley, Rhea Aiken from Emergency Preparedness, Sherry Dickerson, our acting HR Commissioner, and I see we have many other representatives, Chief Shields, Keisha Powell from Watershed. Also, we have a representative from Finance. We can't see who else is in the room. Our interim fire chief is here, Jeremy Berry, and my senior team essentially is here. So this should give you an idea of the importance of today's press conference. We're holding this briefing to bring the public up to date on the application outages that we are currently experiencing in the city of Atlanta. As you all know, Atlanta is experiencing outages in various internal and external customer-facing applications, including some of the applications that customers use to pay bills and also access court-related information. Our information management team is working with the FBI, Homeland Security, also external partners from Microsoft and Cisco cybersecurity incident response teams to help resolve this issue. We have been working diligently all day long to try and come to some type of resolution. With the briefing that we are holding now, it is our hope that we can provide as much information and bring you all up to speed with certainly not compromising the work that we are doing inside of City Hall to try and address this issue, which you all likely know is an issue that's being experienced by many companies across the country and also many other government entities across the country. And with that, I am going to turn it over to my COO, our COO, Richard Cox, for additional information.
Thank you, Mary Bottoms. Let me begin by saying that I've never had a more interesting week to begin a job in my entire career. That being said, we're holding this press conference today to inform you of you and the public of an incident to the City of Atlanta's network system. At approximately 5:40 a.m., Atlanta information management officials were made aware of an outage of various internal and customer-facing applications, including some applications that customers use to pay bills or access court-related information. As this involves an ongoing investigation, here's what we can disclose at this moment. The City of Atlanta has experienced a ransomware cyber attack. This attack has encrypted some of the city data. However, we're still validating the extent of the compromise. At this time, several departments have been affected by the attack. However, we can say that our departments of public safety, water services operation, and airport are operating without incident. That's really important to understand. At this time, we are actively working with the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, Microsoft, and Cisco incident cybersecurity response teams, along with other federal partners to address this matter. The ongoing investigation will determine whether personal information, financial, or employee data has been compromised. As a precaution, we are asking that all employees take the appropriate measures to ensure their data is not compromised. The city advises employees to monitor and protect personal information. In the coming days, we will offer employees additional resources if needed. At this time, we've not made a determination that City Hall will need to be closed tomorrow. Business continuity measures have been implemented where appropriate. I know there have been many reports that our city's payroll will be affected by the impact. Let me assure you that's not the case. This is really important. We are prepared to pay employees as scheduled. The city remains committed to protecting the personal information of both our residents and our employees, and we're working around the clock to resolve this matter. We'll provide more information as it becomes available, but we want to get in front of this matter. We found out today, and we want to make sure that you know everything that we do at this time that does not impact the ongoing investigation. At this time, we will take any questions that you have.
In addition to the written communication, have you received any other communications demanding anything?
We have not received any additional communications other than what we communicated thus far.
There was a concern that the vulnerability existed before and that the city did not take appropriate measures in the past to protect this. And now that chicken has come home to roost. Is that in fact the case?
Well, I'm going to let someone a bit more qualified to get into the technical aspects answer that. But here's what I'll say, and this is really directly from the FBI, Homeland Security. Security matters are ongoing, and they're impacting everyone. In fact, we were advised that there are several agencies, even here in Georgia, that have been impacted. So to the extent that we are really in front of this thing, there are really bad people that are moving pretty quickly to have these types of attacks. But Daphne, any additional comments you want to add?
I can appreciate that comment. As Mr. Cox just stated, this is not a new issue to the state of Georgia. It's not a new issue to our country. We have been taking active measures to mitigate any risk in the past, and those issues or those methods that we've taken in the past, I think, have mitigated the expansiveness of this particular instance. In particular, our cloud-first strategy that we've put in place of trying to migrate some of our major applications and systems to the cloud is a reflection of our intent to take it seriously in terms of trying to mitigate any malware and ransomware attacks we may experience.
What is the remedy? Do you have a workaround? Do you have a workaround?
Well, yes, we do. As I just mentioned, we do have a cloud strategy in place. So as we look to move critical systems to another infrastructure that is more secure and clean, we are doing that. We're taking those steps.
And the timing on that?
Can't say at this time and don't want to say. As we just mentioned, we have our FBI, Homeland Security, as well as the Microsoft and Cisco Incident Response Team. These are teams that specialize in this type of work. So I don't want to get out in front of them and make declarative statements that we can't hold true yet. This is why we've engaged the best, those that specialize in this. I'm glad to say we don't specialize in it. This is our first time coming before you with an issue of this magnitude. So we're taking the advice as well as the leadership of those who do specialize in this, and we'll be able to provide more information at that time.
I think a lot of folks are also wanting to know whether or not their personal information may have been compromised in addition to employees that may have had it.
Again, as Mr. Cox just stated, we don't foresee that any data has been compromised, but again, I don't want to make any declarative statements until we've completed the investigation. As we mentioned, from a timeline perspective, this was just made aware or known to us this morning. How many companies have you seen deal with this who come before the public days, weeks later? So we didn't want to do that. We wanted to come before you as soon as we were made aware. But please give us time to have our resources do the investigation so that way we can provide you with a more accurate statement.
Hold on. Let me just say something on the data as it relates to our employees. We are asking all of our employees to please be proactive in making sure that you contact the respective credit agencies. We will also be reaching out so that we can make sure that we have information on what resources we can make available to our employees just to, as a safeguard, and also monitor your bank accounts. We don't know the extent or if anyone's personal data or bank accounts will be compromised, but we want to make sure that to the extent that you can be proactive, all of us are subject to this attack, if you will. Many of us pay our bills online. We have direct deposit. And so go online and check your bank statements and continue to do that as we continue to determine the extent of this.
What was your emotional reaction when you saw this was happening, and what banks are involved?
Well, certainly anyone who has dealt with the city of Atlanta, and we have your personal information. Again, we don't know the extent, but let's just assume that if your personal information is housed by the city of Atlanta, whether it be because you are a customer who goes online and pays your bill, or an employee, or even a retiree, then we don't know the extent. So we just ask that you be vigilant. And my initial response was, welcome to day 80.
You guys are going to be open tomorrow, but what about the courts? Are they affected in any way, and should they not be open tomorrow?
The courts, as far as we know, will be open tomorrow, but right now, all of the systems at the court, as I understand it, are experiencing some issues. And I said welcome to day 80, and I'm not making light of this. This is a very serious situation, but really speaking to how prepared we have to be as a city, whether it's day 1 or day 80, that there are things that happen. Sometimes we are faced with the unknown, and this is why we have a team of professionals standing here with us, and also we know who to pick up the phone and call for assistance. And in this case, it's our external federal partners and also our external partners such as Microsoft.
Is the city of Atlanta going to pay the ransom?
We can't speak to that right now. We will be looking for guidance from specifically our federal partners on how best to navigate the best course of action. Right now, we are focused on fixing the issue.
Anything like, I know you said no ransomware. I know we're kind of in a new realm here. Anything like this that the city has dealt with in the past to look for guidance, or are we in uncharted territory?
Not that I am aware of, and Ms. Rackley says no.
Any of your federal partners here that can speak to us?
I don't know if any of them are in the room, but they are working diligently. They are in the building, and we have other folk who are on the way, including from Homeland Security, the FBI. Also, I understand the Secret Service has been giving us some guidance, so we have called in all of the appropriate partners to assist.
Just so it's super clear for the listeners, when you say the retirees, you're talking about like direct deposit, like people who get paid and then it's directly deposited to Bank of America or SunTrust. Can you explain that?
Sure, and the explanation is simple. We don't know the extent. And so I would ask that people assume that you may be included if data has been breached, personal data. We don't know if it's limited to information related to just our employees or if it's more extensive than that. But because we don't know, I think that it would be appropriate for the public just to be vigilant in checking their accounts and making sure that your credit agencies have also been notified.
How specifically were you made aware that this attack had happened?
I received a telephone call from the COO this morning.
But how was the city of Atlanta made aware?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were asking about me specifically. Like, well, he called me this morning. Daphne, I'll let you speak to that.
Our security team noticed something that looked peculiar on the server, so that started the investigation.
How would you rate this in terms of things that may have happened in the past with the city of Atlanta? Has any information like this been breached or?
I'm not familiar with anything of this magnitude occurring.
For the viewers who may be confused about, I know we touched a little bit on the personal information, not being able to pay your bills, but what else can people categorize this as in terms of what's at risk?
I think just in general, we're in a new environment now where we know bad actors, bad people try to come in and attack, and we're not the only ones. So I think the temperament that exists across the country is that all citizens have to be on hyper alert about their credentials and their security, their personal security. So I don't think it deviates from that awareness that needs to take place no matter who you do business with.
Will officials be working through the night for this?
Oh, definitely.
What do you think the city will learn from this? Do you think you guys will have a backup system in the future?
We do have backup systems already right now, which is we're hoping to help with any restoration that's needed. But again, we're just at the first tier of this investigation. So as we go through this, obviously a big piece of that is trying to figure out what do we do next.
Are you looking at the templates with the airport and the police and what other agencies were not affected? Maybe what they have is a whole lot more robust. So is it time now to maybe do what they're doing?
Oh, we started. They're already engaged too, so that knowledge sharing is there. It's been there. So we will continue to work with external as well as internal partners.
Was the police department impacted? Can officers still perform their daily duties?
Yes, they can, and we have Chief Shields if more comments are needed.
Yeah, could you say, I mean, will officers, we've been told from some officers they may have had issues accessing reports. Anything you can speak to that?
So our emergency response has not been impacted at all. Our 911 center is as robust as ever. What we did out of an abundance of caution is we reverted back to doing our reporting on paper so that we would not unnecessarily compromise any of our existing systems. But as far as we know, the systems were and are still operational. Our operations, we really, other than not being able to spend time on the internet, which is probably a good thing as an employer, we're not affected. All right?
I know it's been said that payroll is not affected, but did you ever think officers' payroll would be affected today?
I read that a memo had been put out by APD. We did not put a memo out, so I'm not sure. I can't control what is said. I'm deferring to the subject matter experts here. They said it won't be affected, and I believe them.
Someone asked, she asked an earlier question, my first response, seriously, my first response was, I think I'll be signing 8,000 checks today if necessary. So just saying that to say we are prepared to do whatever we need to do to make sure that our employees are paid on Friday as they should be, or not this Friday, the next Friday. All right. Thank you.